Hi there, and as I get ready for Thete Gaming doing stuff that's not just World of Warcraft content on a regular basis, I said a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, that I was getting a massive hankering for getting back into Warhammer again. I was in it in a big way just before World of Warcraft, and then World of Warcraft happened, and now I want to get back into it. Warhammer Fantasy Battle has died out, but there's Age of Sigmar. Now, I've seen a few things about Age of Sigmar, but I'm going to wait and judge it for myself. I'll judge it on its merits. But because Age of Sigmar 2 is coming out at the end of June, I'm not going to get what is available at the moment because I'm just going to wait for that and then I'll get that out. Now, I am going to be starting a Skaven Army, which is my warband. I don't really know what you'd call it for Age of Sigmar because it's much more like 40k for fantasy, really, isn't it? Well, it seems so to me anyway. There's certainly no large battalions. And of course, you could just start, if you just start and just get yourself a few models, get some brushes, get some paints, and just, get started on the kitchen table. That's absolutely fine. And that's sort of the level I started at originally. But because I've done it before and I know I want to get back into it and I really want to get back into it in as big a way as possible, I'm not going to rush it. But I wanted to get myself a proper setup, a painting table, a dedicated painting area, and equipment and all the rest of it. So that's been arriving over the last few days. The desk arrived today. I assembled that. And what I want to do is to go through what I've done to get the setup ready. And I'm going to chronicle the building of my Skaven warband up until July, when a friend of mine who's started doing a dwarf army has challenged me to a game at Warhammer World. So I'm going to be going down to Warhammer World in July, have a few games, record them as well, and hopefully be able to do some battle reports on that. Me in a very amateurish state, although I think my friend hasn't really been playing Age of Sigmar either. So it should be new-ish for both of us. So without further ado, here's how my painting station project has been going so far. So the first thing here is the desk itself. I got the desk. I was very, very annoyed with it because you can sort of see, that it came in two main bits, and for some reason the two wooden bits were screwed to each other, and it scored a dirty gash down one of them. But it's on the underside. You don't really see it. Okay, fine. I got it up there after much sweat and swearing, as I said on Twitter. And it looks quite big. You look at it and you think to yourself, that's actually really big for a painting area. That's much bigger than you need in terms of the depth of the painting area. But no, I knew when I got everything on there, it would be just the right size. In fact, I was actually a bit worried that I wouldn't be able to put it there at all. I have another room, a small room, that I could have cleared out and used for the painting area. That was my initial plan, because I just thought I was going to need quite a lot of room. But then I realised for filming purposes, for doing videos on it, it'd be much more convenient if it was just next to my main setup here. And as a result, I wouldn't be able to, I have another computer, my old computer, I still have that. I could have set that up, but I'd need other, cameras and stuff like that, which would mean either keep switching things out of this computer and taking it over there when I wanted to film. That could take half an hour or more potentially, or having to get new stuff for it. And then I measured it all up to the right of me here, and I just thought, do you know what? I can do this. I can sort this out. This should be fine. So let's actually, once I've got everything on the painting table, let's see how it's all worked out. Okay, so here we are, in all its misplaced glory. So the desk actually, like I say, looked like it was a fair old size, but I sort of knew once I'd got everything in that it would soon fill up. So at the central point, what I've got is so I can't zoom out anymore, it's all really awkward, this camera, but I've just got a painting station, bog standard. The brushes I got two types of brushes. I'll show you the others in a minute. I got some good quality sable brushes for most of the actual brushwork, ones with nice grips on them, but they're a little larger to fit in most of the holes here. This is the problem getting online stuff, I suppose. But it doesn't really matter. There's just a few left there. They're fine there. I also got a cutting mat, of course, for, cutting. Not myself, the models. And when I'm just moving to painting, then that obviously can just be moved away. I can paint on there. All good. Room at the side to put a bit of a paper towel there. There's also dips in here for plastic cups, which I've got downstairs, I've not put out yet, for water for when painting. In terms of other things, I've got a wet palette, but more on that once I actually get onto painting some things. One often overlooked piece of kit when you are wanting to, you know, set up and do your own painting and modelling. A lot of people forget this. It's much overlooked, as I say. It is a portable DVD player with like a box set of Family Guy to be watching something while you're actually painting, for those who are into that. Daytime lamp. Now at the moment the light sort of probably, I mean the camera's not brilliant here, but the light should look pretty good here. But that's because, hello, I've got a daytime lamp there, but that's what I use really for my green screen. You know, I'm not necessarily going to be using that for painting. So in terms of light sources, so we've got a daytime lamp. I quite like this one actually. So it's got different, let's see if I can zoom in on this. So we've got some different settings. So there's concentration high, and then sort of medium, and then there's a relaxed light, and then sleepy bye-byes. But never mind that. So, you know, it's nice to have a daytime lamp rather than just a normal lamp, for the purposes of getting a true colour. Most lights don't really give you a true colour, but for painting that's you know, can be quite important. They can be quite pricey, so it's not necessarily something you'd go for unless you're really committing yourself to it. The Chaos Black, because the first thing I will do is to undercoat the models. Because I'll be starting again, I'm going to use Chaos Black. Chaos Black's the easiest one to be able to do a basic paint job on all sorts of things. But then once I get better with it, I should be able to use a greater range of colours depending on what's going to be most useful for the model. A massive 1 litre bottle of like PVA glue. The purpose for that would be for texturing bases. Now that's a huge amount, that's going to texture many bases. But I have a particular reason for getting a larger thing of it, but more on that much later. For fine detail work, if I ever get the balls to do any fine detail work, magnify it with LEDs built in. So, you know, it's not hugely sturdy, I have to say. Again, you know, when you're sort of getting things on Amazon. But it'll do the job. I mean, once you've set it up and got it in position, it'll be fine. And you know what I quite like about it, it wasn't very expensive, and LED lights there as well, so you can have the model under there for doing very fine detail work. Okay, there are probably better magnifiers, but good magnifiers with the LEDs in there cost way too much, way more than I was prepared to pay, because I'm not that awesome. A couple of books, you know, How to Paint Citadel Miniatures. It's many years, it's well over 10 years since I'd read anything in White Dwarf with any sort of advice, so it'd be nice to sort of get back in to follow some advice there, so that'd be useful. And, you know, Skaven book. It's quite weird actually, because it's hardback, but it doesn't really seem worth being hardback for what you get in it. It seems roughly the same size as the old army books, only doesn't seem to be as much writing in it, but I shall be interested anyway, because, you know, Skaven are my favourite army there. And then I got myself a Games Workshop project box just to store a few things. Now, what I've got in here, I can just unhook that. I mean, this itself, I think the idea is you could use this for painting on it itself, which, you know, it's sort of okay, but it's not. I mean, I didn't spend much on the one I got. Paints in there, which I can just lift out. The irony is that, you know, I've got Games Workshop paints. I got a set, rather than just choosing a load of colours that I was thinking might be useful for it. I tried to find a kit, thinking to myself, I don't really want to get, you know, random paints, because they'll just chuck them loose in the box and goodness knows what happens. So I found one, actually it's designed for painting a Skaven Blood Bowl team, but I looked at the colours, I thought, yeah, you know, I quite like those colours, so I just got these. And then they were just dumped loose in the box anyway, even though in theory it comes with a part of a kit. But the other thing, the annoying thing about this project box, it's still quite nice. I've got other things in there, the files, the clippers, which I didn't get from Games Workshop. A lot of the tools as such are very overpriced at Games Workshop. So the brushes, you know, they were £20, good quality sable brushes. The equivalent ones from Games Workshop cost £30. I also got some cheap brushes. So that's for things like daubing on the PVA glue and stuff like that. You know, just Jobs where you don't really need good quality brushes, so cheap ones there. It's plastic glue. I haven't got any super glue yet because I'm going to do plastic models first. In the red box there I've got like a scalpel for, you know, trimming mould lines, things like that, along with the files. And then you'll notice a couple of paint pots, Games Workshop paint pots. You know, so why not put them there? There's loads of spaces there. Well, the reason is, although they fit in there like that, you can't put the box lid back on when you put them on because they're too tall. You know, a project box designed by Games Workshop, you would think would hold Games Workshop paints, unless I'm doing something badly wrong myself. And finally, in here as well, again for texturing the bases, some modelling sand. I mean, you could, I suppose, just use ordinary sand, it'd be cheaper, but you know, this comes in different sized grains and stuff like that. I'm shaking it all over the place. Different sized grains, which you probably can't tell too well from there, which gives it, you know, a better texture rather than just all being the same. So, you know, I'm just going to put this back now because, you know, painting would not be the first thing to be done anyway. The first thing that would need to be done, if I put this in the right way, is to you know, get the models assembled, and then you'd need to undercoat and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm just going to put that over there for now. So yeah, there we go. Oh crap, need some actual models now. Oh wait, here we go. Now, so what I've got is I've got myself some Skaven. I got some Planeshin, you know, an assassin, some Night Runners. I mean, one thing I definitely noticed, apart from obviously now it's, you know, a good 13, 14 years since I've bought Games Workshop models. Bargain basement, isn't it? You know, they used to have the red and yellow background and stuff like that. Just absolutely plain, which is fine. Obviously, I'm not paying for the packaging. Well, I am, but I don't really need to pay extra for the packaging. But the cost has gone up a lot compared to it. It's more than doubled, which, you know, is obviously well above the rate of inflation for that time. So that's one thing that's notable. You know, you can actually buy models for £100 now, and it's not a Forge World model. But the first ones I'll be doing will be these Skaven Plague Monks, Clan Pestilence Plague Monks, which I'm looking forward to. So that will be what my first little project will be. So I'll be following up with a video on that, hopefully. So that's just giving you a rough idea of the sort of kit I've got going. So that's me all set up. I am now ready to be able to unclip the old Skaven from the sprues and all the rest of it. I'm going to be getting started on that a little bit today, and tomorrow I'll be recording that. Of course, I'll be producing a video on the initial stages of painting those Plague Monks. That should be out next week. And as I say, each week I'm going to chronicle how I'm progressing with it. Hopefully my painting technique will be god-awful to start with, but then get better. Always a trick, I think, in these cases is paint the models you're going to shove at the back, and it's the first ones to get rid of when there's a casualty first, and then move up towards your fancier models once you've learnt a few more techniques and got better practice with it. So that'll be the plan there. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're going to enjoy the series. If you want to watch more in it, of course, subscribe or stay subscribed. I'll be putting these in separate playlists, so you should be able to find it more easily than just wading through the World of Warcraft videos. And thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with other people who might also be interested. And until next time, I'll see you later.